So, you want to make one of those super cool Halo SFM renders, but you don't know how or where to start. Well, today, I'm going to be showing you how to do exactly that. Now, this is going to be a fairly basic tutorial. I don't really know how to do any animation, but I do know how to make, like, photos, stills, characters hold weapons, all that kinds of stuff, and clear up some confusion that can happen whenever you try and work with reach models specifically. So there are a lot of good uses for an SFM render, like as you can see right here. I have it currently set to my background, or for say you can use them as like a thumbnail, like as you can see here. I have the thumbnail for this video, obviously the thumbnail for an upcoming video, and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing you need obviously is SFM. It's free on Steam. Just keep in mind that you're going to need around 15 gigabytes of storage, maybe a little more, maybe less, just depends. And also SFM does run on pretty old hardware as well. It's like what, an almost 8-year-old software, so it should be able to run on your PC just fine. So once you have this in your library, just like I do, what you want to do is you want to find it, go to Workshop, and here's where you're actually going to acquire all of the Halo assets, the Halo models that we'll be working with. So if you just go to my favorites here. So if we look at my favorites here, some of the things that you want to get are Spartans from Halo Reach. You can go around and get some Halo weapons, like here I have the Halo Combat Evolved Assault Rifle, the Halo 3 Battle Rifle, Prophet of Truth. Just go around getting that stuff, and you also want to search up some green screens. I would just get a couple just to see which one works. And yeah, just go around getting all that stuff. Also, what you're going to need, though, that's not in my favorites here, are the Halo 4 models, as I will be showing you how to use those as well. Let me find them. Yep, here they are right here. As you can see, there are 4 different sets here that you can get. Here's some hard light shields too, if you want those. And also what you're going to need is you're going to need something called Doc's Color Script, so you can just search up Color Script. And all you really have to do is whenever you see it, just click the little plus mark. And then whenever you open up SFM, it will prompt you that it's going to be installed. And that's that. So let's go ahead and head over into SFM and show you how to use some of this stuff. Okay, so here we are in SFM, and you can just name the session whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it how it is. Frame rate's not going to matter, as well we're not doing an animation. If you do want to go into learning how to animate, then you can definitely change this if you want. But right now it doesn't really matter, so we're just going to create this new file. And then again, like whenever you are importing all your models, it'll prompt you with this little window right here, so I'm just going to say OK. Sometimes it'll say that these files have conflicting names. Whenever it does that, if you do yes, it'll replace one of your files with a different file. So just do no to all, so that way you can save both variations of the file instead of overwriting things. So first of all, I'm just going to show you the basics of how to move around your model, all that kind of stuff. So for that, we're going to start out by playing around with a very basic chief model that we don't have to assemble like we would have to with a reach model. So basically, first thing we want to do is hit Control L, and that'll bring us to this menu, and this is where we load in a map. As you can see, there's no map loaded in here. And what I recommend, that I forgot to say, is that try and get this map, or get this map. It doesn't really actually matter what map you get, because if you want to use a green screen, but I like using this black void because it's kind of a blank canvas. And yeah, so basically we just hit open file. It'll take a second to load here. And now we actually want to import the Master Chief model itself. So all we have to do is hit this little plus button right here, create animation set for new model, and then just search, let's see, Master Chief. Should probably actually go to all MDL files. Yep, there we go. And then here we have the Halo 3 Master Chief model. So let's just go ahead and import this one. We can back up here a little bit. And now what we want to do, because it's kind of dark in here, is we want to add animation set for new light. Then what we want to do, as you can see, it's too bright. What you want to do and what you always want to do when you first load it up is you see this little kind of like up down meter kind of heartbeat looking thing. You always want to click that because that'll give you access to moving things around, rotating things, all that kind of good stuff. So basically, to change the intensity of the light, hit that plus marker or just click it and just turn down the intensity right here. That's pretty good. So now that we have that stuff in, before doing anything else, I should probably show you how to actually move around with the camera and such. So basically what you want to do is you want to left click, hold, then of course you can look around once you've done that. And you can also move back and forth, side to side, using the WSAD keys as you normally would in any game. And that's kind of how you move your camera around. But now let me show you how to move Chief around. So you want to select this little plus thing here, and it brings up this little guy right here. And of course, you want to do that for Chief. Now, your first instinct might be to just click on the model, go out and find the little movement thing right here, and then start moving it around. And as you can see, that kind of just completely breaks the entire model. So obviously you don't want that to happen, because sometimes it can permanently mess up the model, and whenever you have to assemble the model like you do in Reach by putting all these different pieces together, it's gonna get really frustrating. So what you want to do if you're gonna want to move your character around the map is click on where it says Root Transform, and then you want to then move him around, and as you can see, it'll move him around just fine. Then if you want to rotate him here, you can see this little spinny spiral circle thing, and then you can kind of rotate the model around and all that good stuff. Now when you're positioning the individual limbs and stuff, here let's just select his head, you do not want to use this kind of movement thing because, well, this isn't very natural. So what you want to do instead is you want to use the rotate thing, and this kind of makes sense, as you know, it keeps the head centered on its axis. It won't like kind of shift things around, and it'll make things look a whole bunch more natural. You can move them on the X plane, Y plane, kind of move them around here a bit, move this angle, all that good stuff. So let's just say, oh, well, I accidentally spun his head around, but let's just say, oh, he's looking over here. You can also kind of grab anywhere in this sphere to move it around from all axes. So let's just say, oh, he's looking up this way. And then, that's good. Then we can go to his arms, move his clavicle, like move that up and down, move his upper arm. Let's just move that down so he's not in an A pose. We'll do that the same for the right arm. And there we go. We can kind of move his forearm around a little bit, make it look a bit more natural. And there we go. So that's basically, the basics on how to put the model in, move him around a bit, and position his limbs. Now what you want to do, like say, you find a good angle that you like, but then you want to change it. As you can see right here, it says camera 1. Click that. It'll change to your work camera, and you can like continue moving around his arm, stuff like that. But then you want to switch back to this angle, but you can't exactly find it. Just click this again. It'll put you right back to that angle. Now let's move on to the Reach models, which are probably the most complicated Halo models to play around with. And this is where you're going to really want to pay attention, because this could make or break your render. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Reach models, which are by far the hardest to do. So what you want to go is do add animation set for new model, obviously. Then you want to scroll to where you see the category that says Soul Burnin'. Alright, here it is, Soul Burnin'. So once you see it, just click on it. If you got some of his other Halo models, you might see those here. But then you'll scroll down and you'll see the Halo Reach stuff. And now, this is a bit different from all the other models, especially like the Chief and Halo 4 models, because the Halo 4 models and some of the Chief models can be changed, well, in a bit of a different way, but the Halo Reach models you actually have to assemble all on your own. So basically what you want to start out with is you want to kind of open up the gauntlets here. Then what you want to do every single time, and this can be a little bit tedious, and this is why I say always remember to move the model by root transform, is you want to click root transform, right click on root transform position, and then set to default, and we can kind of find those. Yep, there they are right there. Kind of look at those really quick. Then next, obviously, we want to go and add in the body, so open that up there. Go to root transform, position, set to default, and as you can see, that will line up the gauntlets with the actual body itself. Next, we can add kind of like the different style chest plates and stuff, like let's just say, let's do breacher. Let's just open up that. Then like always, root transform, position default, and now we have breacher. So let's move on. Once we move on from the chest pieces, then we'll see the helmets. Here we have Cat's helmet. Here we have some attachments. Sometimes, well, Cat's helmet, I forgot, actually comes in front of all the attachments. You have the attachments first, which, of course, we're going to want to find a helmet before we do any of that. So let's just see. Let's do a Meals helmet, because that's pretty cool. And, of course, put that at the default. So now we move on to shoulder pieces. So let's just open up Commando really quick here. Set that to default. So basically what you'll notice here is that it'll put the Commando shoulder plates on both shoulders. Now if you want to do like how normal Reach is and only have one shoulder plate on one side, have a different shoulder plate on the other side, basically what you do is you right click where it says Shoulders Commando, set body groups. Then let's just get rid of the right shoulder plate by clicking none. And now we go back to the models, go back to the shoulder plates, and here we'll get the security shoulder plates. Set these to default. Then to prevent clipping, all we have to do is just go here, set body groups, and get rid of the left shoulder plate. And there we go. On our left arm, as you can see, we have Commando, and on our right arm we have security. Then we can go to utilities, as you see here. I'll just get this one because this one looks pretty cool. Then we can do kind of our arm stuff here. I'll just add this tactical wrist thing, and of course set the position to default. And yeah, that kind of covers importing all the models. So now that we have our Reach Spartan here fully assembled, if we were to try and move this thing around, since these are all technically separate models within themselves, we actually have to lock these together in order to get this to be one moving model within itself. So all we have to do that is just go to where it says base Spartan body, and then drag this on top of every other armor piece you see here, and that'll lock everything in place, so that way we can move the entire Spartan all at once as one unit instead of moving around all the individual armor pieces. And now that we've locked everything together, you can go to base Spartan body, root transform, and as you can see here, if we move them around, all of these armor pieces, the whole of this Spartan will move around as one piece rather than in separate parts, which would not be very good. So next up, I know you may be thinking this, well, what if I want my character to have a robot arm? And that's pretty simple too. Just head over to Spartan body, go to set body groups, gender, and then you can do, of course, the female, you can do male, but if you want to do cyborg here, that would be our robot arm, so just change it to that. And as you'll notice, we'll still have the right gauntlet here, so in order to get rid of that, it's just like the shoulder plates. Go over to base Spartan arms, set body groups, gender, and then set that to male cyborg as well. And then it will be just like in game where there's no gauntlet there and it's just the robot arm without anything on it. And now we get into coloring, and you have to color each individual armor piece, and you have to keep in mind that sadly there are no secondary, so there are some ways to supplement this. So basically, let's just go over to the arms first, and let's see. Then we want to set skin, and then we have 1 through 29, and all of these are the base reach colors. So all we have to do is just click one. Let's just click 4, and as you can see, that's brown. So I guess we'll just make the entire Spartan brown. Okay, so now we have our Spartan fully colored here. So what I mean by like basically try and supplement the secondary colors is like change the color of individual armor pieces. So say we can like change the color of the arms here. We'll just change that to whatever 2 is, which is black. Then we can change like the shoulder security. We can change that one to black as well. Then we could also do the same thing for the knee guards. And then we kind of have secondary. I know it's not perfect, but it definitely works. And also you can change the visor color here. If you go to the helmet, you set body groups, you can do the different visor colors. Let's just set it to black to kind of match the rest of our Spartan here. Now we can go to the base Spartan body, grab the head, move that around, get our nice angle, and there we go. So that is how you basically assemble and use the reach models. You want to move the arms around. The same thing for the arms here. Move that around. You can move the fingers around to make it sort of grip things like weapons. But now we're going to move on to the Halo 4 Spartans, show you how to use those. So now obviously we want to go to our Halo 4 models, just find those are the top here, and let's just grab one. Let's grab this one. This one looks kind of cool. I'm just gonna set his position to default here, and it looks like he's sideways for some reason, so I guess I'll just rotate him around. There we go, that's better. So working these is a bit easier than working the Halo Reach models, but it's not as expansive because you're limited to the options that are available in the pack that you chose. So here, basically, we add body groups. As you can see, you can change the helmet, change the shoulder plates, all that type of stuff, but it's much more limited. So let's just go ahead and make all of this the Mark 6 because the Mark 6 is better. So now that I've changed all the armor pieces to the wonderful Mark 6, now I'm going to show you how to color this one because it's a bit more complicated than coloring the Reach Spartan. So basically, in order to color this model here, you want to right click, go to Rig, set up model coloring, then we'll just do, say, a custom color, try and do kind of a Chief-esque green. Okay, and done. And as you'll notice, you actually still cannot do secondary colors here by default, which is pretty disappointing. But as you can see, there we have our Halo 4 model. Now, with the Halo 4 models, for some reason, only the root transform is in body. The fingers work in fingers, so you can kind of move those around a bit. But all of the normal movements are in unknown. So, like, let's just find the head. Where is it? There it is. If we want to rotate that around, we have to go to unknown. Then we can kind of move him around, make them look at our camera. But now I'm going to show you like how to import weapons, make the characters hold weapons, and how to use a green screen. Okay, so I brought back our unnamed Reach Spartan from a little earlier, and now we're going to make a full-on render. So, first things first, I actually should probably change the FOV on this light to make it kind of cover his whole body. Yep, there we go. And now we're going to just import a Halo weapon. So I'm just going to go in here. Here we go. Let's give our buddy here a nice carbine, and basically grab there, go to root transform as always, and move this down. Now, as you'll notice, some models, as you can see here, will be way too big for the actual character itself. So all we have to do here is go to where it says root transform, right click, and then click where it says add scale control to transforms, then click on the scale control, and then just tone this down a bit. That looks pretty good. And now basically we want to make them kind of hold this in a kind of standard holding position, I guess. Okay, so I kind of centered the carbine near his body. Now, we want to make him grab it, and we want to make it feel like he's actually holding it naturally. So, we're going to go over to our base Spartan body, go over to arms, and we'll go ahead and start with our right upper arm and move this around. And basically, we just want to make this look as realistic as possible. So, we'll kind of move his shoulder in front. Take the lower arm, bend it at the forearm, rotate it around a bit, keep pushing it forward more. Sometimes the models will have clipping issues, so that's pretty normal if it happens, but just keep pushing it, should go through eventually. So now we have the model kind of here, but I guess we kind of want to make this back a little bit more so that way he can hold it also with his left arm. Now kind of move the carbine sort of into his hand. Now as you can see, we came into a problem here. I've kind of forgot to use root transform, so always make sure that you do that. Then we'll kind of get some rotation on this carbine, make sure it's not super static here. Just kind of move it kind of like that, get it at a nice angle, move it around a bit more, and that'll be a rough estimate. So now we want to get the left arm to where it's kind of holding under the barrel. Alright, so let's kind of move around the upper left arm just a tad bit, move around the lower left arm as well, kind of get this to wrap around, kind of get it in this sort of position, just make it feel pretty natural. That looks pretty good right there. But I'm also going to move the hand itself so that way the forearm doesn't look too weird, and just get it to where he's roughly grabbing the barrel. And I think we've actually got this in a pretty good position right off the start. I normally don't actually get it in this good of a position. So now what we want to do is actually kind of, as you can see, the hand's kind of clipping into the carbine itself here. So I kind of want to move that around a bit and then get the fingers positioned to where it actually looks like he's holding the gun and there's not just a gun floating in between his hands. think that looks pretty good. And now I can actually show you how to finish up the render. So now that we've got our guy here, he's kind of in his pose, we can kind of get our nice camera position. And then, in order to actually export the render, go to File, Export, Export as a poster, Save, obviously. And I recommend saving it as a PNG. Kind of click where you want it to save to. We'll just save it to my captures folder, why not? And just name it something random, I don't know. And of course here you can change the resolution. I'm going to make mine 4K, which is 3840 by 2160, and then export. And this may take a few minutes, depending on your computer speed. It may take up to, I don't know, quite a while. I don't know. Mine usually does it pretty fast, like within maybe a minute or two, but that all just depends on the power of your PC. Alright, it looks like the render is done, so now we'll just go into that folder and take a good look at it. And there we go. Let's just click on it. And that looks pretty nice, if I do say so myself. Not bad, not bad. Now you can go ahead and show this to your friends. Use this as your YouTube banner, YouTube thumbnail, your icon, all that kind of stuff. But now I'm also going to show you how to use the green screen and kind of give yourself a personalized background, whether it be Halo, whether it be something else. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, so here we are back in SFM. So what you want to do now is, of course, add a new model. Then you want to search green. And you want to import this thing that says tool/green plane. We want to implement that. Then we can kind of zoom out a little bit, or I'll just use the trick I showed you earlier where we can switch to our work camera, so that way we have about the same angle and we don't have to sacrifice that angle that we've already established. So now what we want to do is we want to grab the green plane, kind of want to okay, I don't know what I just did, but I kind of moved back to where I was. Anyways, you want to rotate this to where it's like that. Then right now, that would actually be fine for the angle that we're using. But say if we were using a different angle, if we were going to put like a warthog in here or something, we would definitely need a way bigger green screen. So just like earlier, go to Root Transform, right click, add scale control to transforms, and we'll just turn this all the way up to that way we have a ginormous green screen, and we can put in something like, I don't know, a nice big giant CE warthog that can now actually fit in within the screen. And if we ever wanted to do something like that, so I'm just gonna get rid of this now, and now make a render and basically show you how to add any background that you please. So now that our green screen image has rendered, well, we are done with SFM, so we can kind of exit out of here, go over to where we made that render. Okay, so here it is. Now I'm going to be using a software called paint.net in order to actually remove the green screen. If you know how to do that in any other program, you can do that as well. But basically, I'm just going to go to here, open with paint.net. And then we want to basically use the magic wand tool. Click on the green out here. As you can see, sometimes it will actually select parts of the Spartan's body, which we do not want to happen. So basically, you see this tolerance bar, just turn that down a bit, just into where, yep, it just cuts out the green. Then we just press the delete key on our keyboard, and boom, and then do the same for all these other spotches of green really quick. Alright, now we have a fully transparent image. Now in order to add our own background, just click where it says add a new layer, drag this layer below the background layer, which I know can be a little confusing. Then just search something up on Google. Let's just search Halo background. Here's the Halo Reach Forge World concept art, which I've always really liked and thought was pretty cool. So let's go ahead and use this one. Just click copy image, and then do Control V on your keyboard in order to paste that in here. Drag this to size, and there we go. You can be done here. You can move your character around a little bit. I'll just put them right there. Or in order to make your Spartan stand out a bit more, you can always blur the background a bit by going to Effects, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and make your Spartan stand out a little bit. Or what you can do also is you can basically copy this layer, then use the same magic wand tool, then turn up the tolerance, kind of select the entire Spartan here, go to the paintbrush, select any color, whether it be black, white, or whatever, make the brush width pretty big, color this completely black, then put this under your base Spartan render, then go to Effects, Blurs, Gaussian Blur again, kind of add this kind of shadow effect, or you can also keep duplicating this and make it to where it's essentially like an outline, but of course I don't really want that, so I'm going to remove all these layers, and I'll just leave this right here, and then we can merge layer down to combine all those layers, and there we go. Now if you want to add anything else in here, you can do that as well, but I'll just go ahead and call that a successful render. And yeah, that's basically how you make a nice Halo render in SFM. I hope this helped you out, as I know there's not really a tutorial on how to actually use the Halo Reach models. So yeah, I hope this helps you out with your Halo renders, and definitely share some of those in my Discord if you'd like to join that, or share links in the comments, as I would love to see how some of those turn out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Go ahead, like I said, check out my Discord server, Alpha Halo. Bunch of members there, getting closer to 100. We host bi-weekly Halo MCC Game Night events that are really fun, so definitely come check that out. Check me out on Instagram, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, so goodbye.